Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're going to react to the top 7 reactions of innocent convicts set free. Before we get into this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help me out on my goal to 1,000 subscribers. And if you like the video, if you like the content, do me a favor and hit the like button. Thank you so much. Let's get into the video.
This is John Bunn. He spent 27 years wrongfully convicted of murder.
I'm an innocent man, Your Honor, and I have always been an innocent man.
While living in Brooklyn, New York, Bunn was only 14 years old when he was arrested by NYPD detective Louis Scarcella. Bunn later spent 16 years behind bars and then 11 years out on parole, where he still fought to prove his innocence. Then finally, his conviction was overturned based on the wrongdoing of Detective Scarcella and the fact that there wasn't even probable cause to arrest Bunn in the first place.
What? Oh, no. So collectively, it's been 27 years. Him being in prison plus parole, and they're just now figuring out that there was a wrongdoing by an officer in 27 years. It took them that long to figure it out? Nah, something weird is going on. Somebody was doing something behind the scenes they weren't supposed to, trying to hide some stuff or messing with some evidence. Like, there's no way this could just be an accident. 27 years? Come on, man.
I want y'all to know that y'all convicted and had a wrong man in prison.
And after 27 years of fighting to clear his name, he is finally exonerated.
I want to say thank you, Your Honor, because in 27 years, I've been fighting for my life.
So
But
messed
before
up.
he leaves the courtroom, he has a moment with the judge. Bunn later filed a lawsuit against the city of New York and
As he
Detective
should.
Scarcella.
As he should. Because the sad thing about this, and we all know this, but I'm going to say the obvious, that when these people get wrongfully convicted and they have to sit in prison, you can't get that time back. You can't get time back. People pass away while they're in prison that the last time they saw them was before they end up going to prison. So much time has passed. They lose friends because people assume that they did something they never actually did. They lose a job. They have something on the record. It's so many things that happen from being convicted, especially if you're wrongfully convicted. Now you got to refigure out your life. Now the people you're attached to might be dead and gone. So, I mean, you can't get a single minute back, but the best course of action is to sue them and get every penny that you could. So I'm happy that he did that, but I'm sad that this happened to him. This is really messed up.
This is David Ranta. He spent 22 years behind bars for a murder he did not commit in Brooklyn, New York.
I don't know. The way he looks, he's in court. He got like a slight
Bars
smirk.
for a murder he
I mean, I know that it doesn't determine whether they're innocent or not, but just he kind of, maybe that's just his face, but he's giving me like this weird smirky look, like he's proud of being in court. I don't know.
did not commit. In Brooklyn, New York, Ranta was arrested by Detective Louis Scarcella. Yes, this is another wrongful conviction that's connected to Scarcella.
Scarcella again? What is Scarcella up to right now? What is he? I'm gonna look that up later. I hope he's behind bars, man. I hope he's behind bars. That's 2 people in a row. And just to correct what I was saying, maybe he was smirking because he knew he was about to get out. Like he knew that he wasn't one who did it. But going back to Scarcella, man, that is crazy. You ruined 2 people's lives. 2 people's lives. They were away from the people they care about for at least a decade, and for some cases 2. That's crazy.
Ranta was put in a police lineup run by Scarcella and was identified as the shooter. But decades later, reportedly, the key witness revealed that the detective had provided him with a description of whom to pick in the lineup. There was no physical evidence linking Ranta to the killing, and the evidence presented to the jury was allegedly fabricated. Ranta was then convicted and sentenced to 37.5 years to life in prison.
He could have got life in prison if they did not know that officer was tampering with stuff, or as they say, screwed up. I don't think he screwed up. You don't make this type of mess up twice, right? So hopefully, whatever state this is in, or everywhere, when it comes to the evidence, I hope these people are doing thorough investigations to make sure for a fact that they are as close as possible to get in the right person. This seems like they just picked somebody and they're like, oh, okay, we'll put them behind bars. We don't need no evidence. Just go ahead and put him in there. We just need a body in prison for this crime, and that's all we need. We don't need to know who actually did it. We just need somebody in there to show that we're doing our job. That's crazy, man. And that's scary. That's really scary for whatever state that they live in.
But after spending over 2 decades in prison, the former witnesses admitted that they were pressured into testifying against Ranta.
After
and
20
now,
years, they admit
this is the moment his conviction gets thrown out.
Mr. Ranta, to say that I'm sorry for what you have endured would be an understatement and grossly inadequate, but I say it to you anyway. The defendant's motion to vacate the judgment of conviction is granted.
Oh, that's why he was smiling. Okay, yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault. I didn't know. They just showed the video in the beginning, so I can see why he would be happy about that, because that's an extremely exciting moment for him, especially someone facing life. But those people who were pressured, they gotta get some time too, man. They have to. They have to get something, because that's really messed up. That's really messed up.
After his handcuffs were removed, he hugged his family. With all he owned thrown over his back, he walks out a free man. After his release, he reportedly received $2 million from the state and a $6.4 million settlement from the city of New York.
Get that bag. Everybody on this list, I hope y'all all got a bag. All of y'all. This is crazy.
This is Susan Mellon. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole based on an untruthful testimony. She was 42 years old when she was arrested in Los Angeles, California, at a McDonald's while taking her daughter to get a Happy Meal. But that was the last time she would see her child for 7 years, as she was charged for the murder of an ex-boyfriend.
You are under arrest now for murder.
Yes, believe me, I wouldn't do that.
Mellon's conviction was based solely on an informant who claimed that Mellon had confessed the killing to her. She was in prison for a total of 17 years until the informant was proven to be a pathological liar and an unreliable witness. And now, this is the moment that Mellon's case is finally overturned.
The judgment is vacated, the conviction is overturned, and as to Ms. Mellon, the case is dismissed.
From tears in one moment to jumping in joy the next. When released, Mellon took her daughter to McDonald's to deliver that long-awaited Happy Meal. The state of California awarded Mellon $597,000 in compensation and
No. At least $1 million. She should have get at least $1 million. She missed a lot of time, not just in her life, but in her daughter's life, that she will never, ever get to experience again. Never. They only gave her $592,000. Are you serious? I know it's not really about the money, but y'all gotta hurt as much as she did monetarily, as much as she did emotionally for this.
Reportedly, the Los Angeles City Council agreed to pay $12 million to
That's
Susan
what I was
Mellon.
looking for. Okay, all right.
This is Luis Vargas. He was sentenced to 55 years to life for crimes he did not commit. Vargas was 29, living in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, he look about 30 in that picture. Oh, that ain't... Hey, man.
When he was charged with 3 sexual assaults. Based on the similar descriptions of these crimes, police concluded that it was the same person that committed all 3 attacks. Vargas was later convicted on all counts, and he spent a total of 16 years in prison until the California Innocence Project tested DNA on the remaining physical evidence and clothing from one of the victims, and it was not a match, proving that Vargas did not commit these crimes.
He is in fact innocent because the evidence will show that it undermines the prosecution's case.
Vargas sat silently when he was exonerated from all crimes. Vargas only had one simple wish from his mother for when he would become a free man.
Please buy me a big hamburger and we eat it together.
Reportedly, after Vargas was exonerated, he received $886,000 in state
where the millions
compensation.
Where the millions at?
This
What? That's it? Oh, come on, man. Now that's messed up, because there's defamation of character in there too, because people possibly seeing this on the news, knowing that he's being convicted of being of sexual assault. You can lose friends like that. You can lose all kind of stuff like that. And it might be people who still don't believe that you didn't do it once you come out of prison. He deserved more than that. Come on, man. That's crazy.
Is Daniel Villegas. He spent 18 years in prison for a double homicide he never committed in El Paso,
He kind of look like Alex Jones a little bit.
Texas. Villegas was arrested at 16, where an El Paso detective reportedly threatened him with beatings and the death penalty if he did not confess. And the teenage Villegas signed a confession that was prepared by the detectives. He tried to withdraw his confession a few hours after, but by then it was too late. He was charged with 2 counts of capital murder. With the false confession being the only piece of evidence, the jury was unable to agree on a verdict. Villegas had a retrial and the jury returned a guilty verdict, and he was given a life sentence. After spending 18 years in prison, the verdict was thrown out and Villegas remained out on bond, where he got married and started a family. But now we're in the 3rd trial.
If the defendant will please stand.
This is the moment that Villegas will find out if he'll go home with his family or be sent back to prison to serve his life sentence.
The state of Texas versus Daniel Villegas. Verdict form B. We, the jury, find the defendant Daniel Villegas not guilty of...
Wow. Good for him, man. Good for him.
Villegas is now a free man.
You are no longer under any conditions. You are free to leave. Thank you.
Reportedly, Villegas has filed a lawsuit against the city of El Paso. This
And with, as far as I know, with Texas, it's that type of stuff. It gets a little tricky, especially when you're trying to file a lawsuit out there. So hopefully he got everything that he earned, you know. And I'm so happy that he's able to go back with his family. I mean, that's very important, and that, you know, that's just heartwarming that a man can go back to his family as opposed to serving a life sentence for a false conviction. So I'm happy for that, man. I really am.
This is Ricky Jackson. He spent over 39 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. Jackson was arrested at 18 years old, living in Cleveland, Ohio. The main witness in the case was a 12-year-old kid named Eddie Vernon, who in fact didn't see anything. And he said the police did pressure him into testifying against Jackson, which then later led to his conviction. Jackson initially was sentenced to die in the electric chair, but after spending 2 years on death row, his death sentence was reduced to life in prison. Nearly 4 decades later, the now 52-year-old Eddie Vernon came forward with the truth, stating that he never saw the murder happen. Charges against Jackson were then dropped, and after being wrongfully imprisoned for 39 years, this is the moment that Jackson hears that he is free to go.
Mr. Jackson, you're going to be free to go. Life is filled with small victories, and this is a big one. I wish you good luck. Thank you.
All right.
Jackson is now outside for the first time as a free man.
Wow.
Jackson received $1 million in compensation from the state and an additional $2.65 million for lost income.
That's so sad, man. And that's what, the third one, probably the second, third one that we heard someone being pressured to do something due to the police, or someone lying as a witness. Like, what does the person who lies get? That's what I really want to know, because this dude probably missed out. He was in jail for 40 years, I think they said, if I remember correctly. That's a long time. That's a good chunk of your life that's gone. I know at this point that's the least of the concern, because he's able to go outside. He was facing the electric chair and everything like that. But man, that stuff is sad. It really is. But I'm happy. That's another person I'm really happy for.
This is Kirsten Lobato. She served 16 years in prison for a murder she did not commit. At 18 years old, she was charged with the brutal murder of a homeless man in Las Vegas. She was first convicted of first-degree murder, but on a retrial, she was convicted on the lesser charges of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 13 to 45 years. And after spending 16 years behind bars, a new hearing was presented with evidence that confirmed the actual day of the victim's victim's death was when Lobato was 3 hours away with her family, proving that Lobato could not have possibly committed these crimes. This is Lobato outside for the first.
This is some stuff that's just weird to me, and I know I've said this before. How does it take them this long to figure this stuff out? This is like easy math. That she was 3 hours away from when the homeless person was murdered with her family. Like, I would think that would be easy to figure out. It doesn't take that long to figure that out. Like, what is going on with the court system that caused them to take this long to figure out something so simple out? It's just weird to me.
Time as a free woman.
I feel overwhelmed. I feel excited. I feel grateful. I'm so happy.
Lobato has filed a lawsuit against the Las Vegas Police Department, and her compensation claim is ongoing.
So where to now? Okay, well, we got more people.
It's still ongoing? Hey man, at this point, if it's still ongoing, whatever the stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders is called, my name's going to be up there. That's going to be my stadium from now on. But man, this is I'm happy for these people, but it's sad that they have to go through all this. This is just really, really messed up. And some of this stuff could have been easily figured out. And the fact that someone just lied and that just ruined the other person's life, that's just really sad, man. That's really, really sad. One thing I thought about too, for sure, as I was watching this, I wonder, like, when you go through the process, accepting the fact that you will no longer see the light of day outside of the prison, and then all of a sudden you're a free person. I would like to know from them how weird that transition is in their mind. Are they like, okay, this is really happening? Or are they like, I don't want to accept this because I don't know what can happen next. For all I know, or I'm so used to being in there, I don't even want to go outside of here. I don't know. That's just something that just comes to my mind. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this video wasn't too depressing to you guys. I try not to do that. I try to talk about some things that are real for us. So thank you guys so much for watching. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.